everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it is time once again for another movie review. This time out, I wanted to review 2014's White Bird in a Blizzard, starring Shailene Woodley, Ava Green, Christopher Maloney, Shiloh Fernandez, Thomas Jane, Angela Bassett, and Gabourey Sidibe. And this is a film centering mostly around this character. This is Kat Connors, played by Shailene Woodley. She is a young girl growing up in the late 80s, 1988, I believe, and she comes home from school one day and finds that her mother, Ava Green, has mysteriously disappeared. Her father, played by Christopher Maloney, he kind of freaks out, calls the cops, they start an investigation, and Kat, strangely, doesn't seem all that affected by the disappearance of her mother. And as a matter of fact, she seems to have a little bit of freedom. She kind of relishes the freedom that she gets from the fact that her mom's not around. And she begins to kind of explore her budding sexuality. Kind of the film shows in these out of sequence flashbacks how her relationship with her mother was before she disappeared. You kind of get to see her relationship with her father. You see what her relationship with her boyfriend was like. And then you get to see how all of that changed after the disappearance of her mom. And she starts to deal with it in different ways. She's coming to terms with some changes in her body, and I don't just mean puberty. We learn over the course of the film that she's lost a lot of weight, but she still doesn't feel comfortable in her body. And then she learns how to take advantage of that later in the film. And basically, this is the story of how the disappearance of her mom and the effects that it has on her ripples throughout her life and the people around her, and how she takes advantage of that fact or tries to deal with some of the things that happen as a result. Because of the way it's put together, it's almost like it's trying to hide something. And when I got to the end of the film, I found that what that was is basically this is a pretty predictable story. It's well acted by most of the people involved. Shailene Woodley delivers an excellent performance. Ava Green's performance is just sheer wackadoodlery, if that's a word. Her character clearly has some sort of mental issues, and she was becoming unhinged before she disappeared. She's played in such a way that you really can see why Kat or anyone else really didn't like her much, but you still wonder why her father is so distraught over her disappearance when it seemed like their relationship was really going down the tubes, and you kind of learn how that came to be. The performance from Shailene Woodley is really good. She carries the entire film. If it weren't for this performance, her performance, really this would be kind of hard to watch, just because it's a very uneven movie. If it didn't have the strange construction with the flashbacks and whatnot, it would be pretty easy to figure out what happened in the film. And it's sort of a disingenuous construction. I really think it was put together this way just to sort of hide the fact that the story isn't really that strong. The characters, aside from Kat, aren't really that interesting. Her mom is interesting, but only for the fact that she's so off the wall and coming apart at the seams that you can't take your eyes off of her. So when you get to the plot twist at the end of the film, it really just sort of reeks of desperation, as if the movie just wanted to give you something to talk about after the movie was over. I really didn't buy into it. And what I walked away from is just disappointed that this is kind of a boring film with a couple of good performances, some great cinematography, and the director, Gregg Araki, has put together a nice looking film. It has some dream sequences that give the film its title, and a lot of symbolism, which are visually interesting, but it's really less than the sum of its parts when you walk away from it. I didn't like it all that much, but I do have to give credit to the performances by Shailene Woodley and Ava Green. Christopher Maloney is totally good. Thomas Jane and Angela Bassett appear in smaller roles. Angela Bassett is basically an extended cameo. Thomas Jane comes to prominence later in the film, but they're really not given a whole lot to do, and they're not given a lot to work with. So they're kind of wasted in the movie. Their roles could have literally been played by anybody. So I can't recommend the movie, although it's not terrible. It's just more disappointing than anything else. And I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. So there you go. That is my review of White Bird in a Blizzard. If you've made it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate your attention span. And as always, if you like what you saw or you're interested to see more, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I upload a new video. And if you're already subscribed, thanks again, and I really do appreciate it. There you go. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Take it easy.